running businesses, and in fact, there are more women billionaires than there are men, because most of the women in the world have had to come up with their own bootstring. They didn't inherit it from their husbands. So I'm excited. I think women are at least as important and maybe better as leaders than men, because they listen and they network and they care about the health and education of their children. So
Well,
I'm all for women, and not just condescending. I mean it.
well, no, and I appreciate
Weapons
that.
are most important. And Forrest, I'm going to listen to you and take notes.
Well, you are absolutely so very sweet. The other thing that I admire about you is at 88, that's when I met Jack LaLanne. That was the biggest infomercial we ever did. And for the next 8 years, by the way, you're not going anywhere, he and I created a $1 billion product with his Jack LaLanne power juicer. So the next thing that we also get to talk about when I come back is about aging into wisdom. Let's not dismiss people who've been there. And I'm excited to listen to all that you have to say. Hey, everybody, I'm going to take a quick couple of minutes. And one, in honor of Dennis, I like to redefine words. If you followed me on television throughout the years, one of my focus is health and wellness and fitness. I've grossed a little over $2.5 billion in that industry between infomercials and home shopping product sales. But I will tell you, being fit from the neck down is vital. You can't, I think UB Blake said, if I knew I was going to live to 95, I would have taken much better care of myself. Well, today is that day. So I created the word diet to be D-I-E-T. Instead of pain and suffering and deprivation, D-I-E-T became decisions I eat today. And for me, that helped me overcome my weight struggles and made me very present. For me, MOM became another acronym that I changed, because many of us, my mom has been gone for 20 years. I can only remember so many things about her. But when I had my two beautiful twins, it was, Mom, can you change my diapers? Mom, can you do? I was like, wait a second, how did Mom get to be a wine? And I changed it on its side, MOM. And I redefined it to be moments of memories. And I can sit with my now 18-year-old twins and we can reflect on that moment we were standing on the top of the Great Wall of China as a family. I don't know what I had for dinner last night, but I can remember what I had dinner that night. And so moments of memories became very important to me. And so when I knew I was doing this with Dennis, I took W-I-N and thought, So W for me is wonderment. I approach life as a little kid. I see miracles every day. And I find miracles in the most delicious of moments that I think many of us are so busy doing that they pass by and you're complaining, right? So one of my moments of miracles was when I got pregnant with my twins. I was 41 years old. That's a little old, right? But the doctor came in and said they were conceived on March 20th. It hit me that that's my mom's birthday, the first year after she's gone. Is that a miracle, a sign from my parents? And then the most beautiful moment was they are going to be due 9.5 months later on December 7th, which is my dad's birthday. Now, I don't know who or how they planned that things. I just took that moment and I took that beautiful moment and I decided that I was going to have the healthiest, most amazing pregnancy. And Dennis, I pushed out, operative word pushed, 2 7-pound healthy babies at 42. Primarily, I think, because I believed so strongly. I fed them so well. I thought about in fact, when the nurse walked in one day, we were doing a little Nuco translucent to see the health of the twins. They could see the boy, but they couldn't see even the sex of the other baby. And she started to rattle off. She said, well, there's a 62% chance of this and a 42%. I said, leave. She said, what? I said, get out right now. Just get out. Doctor came in and said, you okay? I said, yeah. I said, you don't know who you're talking to. I don't need to hear statistics that don't matter. I have a 50-50 chance the child will be 100% healthy or not. And either way, in my mind, he or she already is. Please don't put a thought in my head than what I have. And I think we live in a society with television and movies and Facebook where bad thoughts are inundated everywhere. And your job, I think, is to continue to do this. So that wonderment is just push out all the negative as soon as it comes in so you can thrive. Do you agree?
I agree completely. In fact, you said it better than I can. I wake up and say, safe again, let's go.
Yeah, and I just say, this side of the dirt, congratulations. I roll over and hug my man and say, and I really do, I open my eyes, because there are moments I can very clearly remember due to stress, and that's the biggest killer for most people, in a hospital bed for 10 days. I didn't know if I was going to survive after a last-minute kidney stone. And I remember waking up every morning and seeing that environment and thought, please, dear God, whatever it takes, I'm not done, get me out of here. And every morning I wake up with this beautiful sense of gratitude. I don't want you who's listening to this to get to that point where you hit a wall and go, dear God, thank you. Wake up every day and just acknowledge how beautiful it is to breathe, how nice it is to walk outside and feel the miracle. So W is wonderment. I was innovation. I think you don't even need to find a new idea nowadays. There's so many ideas that are out there. Innovate instead of just totally be. And my dad was an inventor, Dennis. He had a garage full of stuff. He was a magician and an engineer, and he created things. He never got any of them out to the world. I have a vision. I'm sitting in the garage one day on a stoop, and he says to me, "Kiddo, how do I get my ideas out to the world?" And I said, "Dad, I have no idea. I'm 8 years old." But the funny thing is, Dennis, the world pushed me to a world where I did infomercials, where for many years of my life, I took inventors who write on napkins, who dream in garages, who are almost ready to get divorced because their wife's like, just, it's never going to happen. And I gave them a platform and an opportunity to see their dreams come true. And wasn't it Zig Ziglar who said, if you give enough people what they want, they'll give you what you want? I made millionaires. I made success stories out of dust. I didn't do it for my dad, however. And so that is a heartbreak. He's also gone 20 years. And so WIN. And so the N was two things. I love to redefine words, and the word no plagued me for a long time. I'm a bit of an introvert, and if you said no, I would kind of wither away. I didn't release a lot of books. You are a master at that, because I didn't want to get rejected so many times. And I had to sit with myself and say, what does no mean for me? And I flipped it on its side like I do, and it became NO, never-ending opportunity. When someone gives you a no, I turn to them and I say, really? Thank you, which blows their mind. Who says no and you say thank you? And then I immediately say, what would it have taken to get a yes? And very often they will tell me. And sometimes in that moment, I'll flip it around and actually get a deal out of a no. And so that has been, so WIN is wonder, innovation, and no. Or now, when you want to take action, right now. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Action TNT, today, not tomorrow.
I
love wonderment, innovation, and I also love the idea of no being, I don't know enough yet, so I'll be ready to say yes when I know more.
That is so beautiful. So now I've decided in this next chapter of my life to take my name and flip it on its side. Forbes, a very unusual name. It's a family name, and you love the story about how my grandmother, because it's not my grandmother's married last name or my dad's birth last name, but they couldn't get my uncle into engineering school back in the 40s with a Jewish last name. So she went to the yellow pages, which you and I still know is a thing, and went boom and picked this name. So the name meant a lot for me, and it became my first name. And so Forbes is a book. And so I'm going to run this by you. The F is going to stand for foundation. How important to you is a solid foundation?
Completely, because without the floor, the ceiling comes automatically. So you need a floor, but you don't want to put a ceiling on the floor.
What is one of your health secrets? Because I divide foundation into personal, professional, and physical. What's one of your secrets that you could share with us? Because you look pretty damn good.
Well, one of my secrets is I love life so much I can hardly wait to wake up. I want to live at least to be 100. I'm so curious like a child. So I hang around with younger people. My secret of health, hang around with young people and never stop using your brain. If you don't use it, you will lose it. So I'm using every part of my body, especially the brain.
Well, I love that. You know, Adora, I hadn't really thought about this. Dennis, where do you live?
I live in Rancho Santa Fe, California, near San Diego, so I live up in the woods.
All right, well, we need...
And bobcats, so...
Have you ever seen my fitness product?
Yes.
Well, I need to send you one as a gift to celebrate today, Adora. I'm happy to put this in the mail for you. I will get your mailing address, because I will tell you what, when you go out for a walk and you have this thing spinning, it just invigorates you. It doubles your heart rate. And for the last 12 years, it's my pride and joy. And for your health and your wellness, I'm sending you one.
I can hardly wait. I'll use it.
That is so awesome. And real quick, I want to point out this incredible comment that we got from the virtual auditorium from Candace, talking about how she, ever since she read Seeds of Greatness, she has wanted to inspire the same way that she was inspired by Dennis Waitley. And this is the kind of impact that Dennis Waitley has made in people's lives. This is the kind of impact Forbes makes in people's lives, that Brian Tracy has made in people's lives, that so many of the thought leaders that are joining us here have made in people's lives. And real quick, I just want to, as we wrap up the last 10 or 15 minutes or so that we have with the incredible Forbes Riley, I want to ask Dennis if he has anything he wants to share to this incredible person that left this beautiful comment in the virtual auditorium. And folks, if you've been touched, moved, and inspired by Dennis Waitley, let us know in the comments. This is your rare opportunity to be able to share that message with Dennis. If you have not yet signed up to be in a private Zoom call with Dennis, that opportunity is still available. You can go to wintourvip.com, and we have a very rare opportunity to have an intimate session with Dennis Waitley, as well as an intimate session with Forbes Riley and other surprise celebrity guests that we're inviting. But Dennis, let's talk very quickly after Adora chimes in about Seeds of Greatness, and if you want to share anything to Candace. Adora, please.
Yes, I just want to add that Candace also said that flourished into a 30-year military career as a female. And Dennis, I know you started in the military, so before I wanted you to know.
Well, Candace, you know, we have a lot in common. You have the seeds of greatness within you. My grandmother and I planted a victory garden during World War II, and she said, whatever you put in the soil, if you nurture it, will come up. It comes up as advertised. I said, but what about the weeds? She said, the weeds blow in, they don't even need watering. You'll have weeds every day, you'll never get your garden right, but the seeds of greatness are within us all. And so my goal in life has been to plant shade trees under which I'll never sit. And Candace, you already have the seeds. In fact, you've harvested the seeds of greatness. And I look to you as a woman leader and an ex-military like me. You know, we paid our dues in the military service. I went to the Naval Academy and became a Navy pilot off a carrier, but you know, my greatest moments are being part of a team and to plant seeds in other people. And I can only thank you for taking the seeds of greatness and making them your harvest rather than just words in a book.
Wow.
Wow. And that is so incredible. And Dan says 30 years in personal development. Dennis was the first I listened to. And of course, I'm pretty sure Forbes and Adora, and I don't know if Dennis, you can confirm this. I think that The Psychology of Winning is the all-time best-selling audiobook in personal development. I think it's even superseded Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret and many of the other ones as far as global reach and the amount of people that have heard it. And so that is truly remarkable when you think about how many people you have impacted over the course of your life with your voice, in addition to your words. I mean, many people have impacted folks through their words, but I think when you impact people through your voice, it hits people much deeper, much harder. It's almost like a best friend. And it's almost like someone speaking straight into your soul. And this lovely veteran who you just addressed has also reciprocated and said, thank you, Mr. Waitley. God bless you. And this is absolutely incredible. But I believe that is true, Dennis, that your audiobook is the all-time best-selling audio program in the history of personal development. What an honor that is, and what an incredible legacy. How does that feel, Dennis, to know you've impacted so many people globally?
Well, it feels really good and humbling, but I have to admit that it was Earl Nightingale who did the introduction for the album. And so Nightingale Conant are responsible for making that happen. They used their mailing list to build an unknown. So I was an unknown person that Earl Nightingale got behind personally. So I have to thank both Roy Conant and Vic Conant, Nightingale Conant, and Earl Nightingale for pushing an unknown into the known. And so I'm very fortunate that happened during a time when America was really looking to win, because we weren't winning at the time. So I happen to have the good timing as well. And I'm just very humbled by it. And I never take that as being something special. I feel I'm just one of the orchestra, and I just happen to be the older member of the orchestra that's sitting up in the 18th row playing the oboe in God's orchestra. So I'm not impressed, but I like to express myself. When I say I'm not impressed, it's an honor and a privilege. I just hope I could live up to the words that are spoken. I'm finally having to live the life that I talk about. And that's happened very late in life, and I'm finally having to be the guy behind the curtain that actually behaves according to the psychology of winning.
Wow.
And Forbes, what do you have to say about the impact that Dennis has made, and being somebody, Forbes, that also impacts people's lives? When you hear someone like Dennis, what does that mean to you, since the two of you live your life in service of other people, just like so many of the people that are joining this program? How touched, moved, and inspired are you by Dennis Waitley, Forbes Riley?
Well, I also heard Dennis's voice. Between Dennis, Tony Robbins, and Les Brown, those are the voices that got me started on a personal development path in my late 20s, early 30s, when it was very dark. It was very hard to find people who pushed you and moved you and spoke that way. My parents didn't speak that way. Community didn't speak that way. Television didn't speak that way. To hear positivity, to hear that you can win, to hear that you have greatness inside of you. And I do Les Brown. I literally can wake up going, I got to be hungry today. That's like God walking through people's voices into your heart so that you can move forward. And Dennis, you were very much on that list very early on. And like we started, Adora, there were just no female voices, but I heard maybe God was a guy for a while. I'm not sure. But I will tell you what's interesting now, Dennis, is that you and I are talking, is that because of Zoom, and how does this affecting you? Because for me, it's so profound. I have a physical audience on Zoom that I see, hear, and touch around the world, from Zimbabwe to South Africa to Singapore to Antarctica. I've actually now can see these people. How is that actually in turn affecting you? Because I think this is a miracle of our time and the only good byproduct of COVID.
It really is a miracle. And before we give the floor back to Dennis, because that's such a powerful question, Forbes, and we definitely want to touch base on technology. And this is really a long conversation. This program is one conversation, and people are going to contribute, and other people are going to come in and contribute. And so we want to thank you, Forbes, for joining us here, and we want to thank you for your amazing time.
You're welcome.
And we are ready now to bring in our next incredible thought leader. And Forbes, you are truly the person that we wanted to open this up, because you're special, you're incredible, and you're one of the few females in the personal development arena. We honor you for joining us. And now I would love to talk a little bit about our next.
Well, hang on one second. Let me just say a good goodbye, because I love you, Mo, and I know. Here's the thing, you guys. Well, this will be the greatest event ever. You guys have a string of people for the next couple of days that is so off the chart. I will be tuning in all day and listening, as I advise all of you to do. From the best pitch person, you need to listen. Dennis, I will definitely get your address and send you a SpinGYM so that I can connect with you. For any of you reaching out to me, just go to ForbesRiley.com. Stay connected. There's free gifts there always. Happy to love on you, teach you how to pitch, and show you that anything is possible. Adora, you have my heart, my girl. Enjoy this beautiful, beautiful 3-day experience with the greatest minds on earth. Dennis, you deserve it.
Greatest minds on earth. Thank you. We love you, Forbes. We appreciate you, and we honor you.